Mutual aid, mutual aid. Piotr Kropotkin, born on the 9th of December 1842, was a geographer, Russian revolutionary and foremost theorist of the anarchist movement. He often shunned material success for the life of a revolutionist. From 1862 to 1867, he served as an army officer in Siberia. During this time, he contributed to knowledge of the glaciation of Asia and Europe during the Ice Age. These findings led to a long and distinguished scientific career. In 1871, he was offered the secretaryship of the Russian Geographical Society, turning it down due to his commitment to anarchism, at the same time renouncing his aristocratic heritage. He was imprisoned many times from 1874 to 1886 in countries like France and Switzerland, and finally settled in England. During his exile, he wrote many of his most famous works, including Mutual Aid in 1902. After the Russian Revolution of 1917, Kropotkin was able to return to his homeland with warm greetings at the age of 74.
Hey guys, it's James with a roundup of mutual aid.
Mutual aid.
Mutual aid can be defined by the equal exchange of support amongst communities in terms of resources, knowledge and services. Actions are carried out voluntarily in hopes of improving quality of life and political conditions for all. Completely unrelated species in the animal kingdom subliminally reciprocate acts of mutual aid for the benefit of one another. There is no such trace of communication between the two, which raises the question of whether this relates to native instincts. During Kropotkin's life, mutual aid was widely visible in all aspects of being. As long as humans and animals were interacting through relationships and cooperation, respect will continue to be a fundamental cornerstone of society. Shortly after Kropotkin published Mutual Aid, the Great War started, and instantaneously, nations instinctively became allies with one another as they understood this put themselves at an advantage. More resources, troops, equipment, and the probability that they would win.
Alexander von Humboldt was one of the first geographical philosophers who inspired me. He was an exploring scientist who discovered and mapped the Casquerie Canal. His work motivated me to do some exploring of my own, as in my early 20s I travelled to Siberia. During my travels, I discovered volcanoes in Manchuria and fresh volcanic cones near the Lake Baikal. During my time in Siberia, I developed a great interest in Darwin and the ideas of anarchism. His theory of natural selection helped with my work in creating my own theory of mutual aid. However, rather than seeing species fighting against each other for survival, I saw organisms working together. This was the same for both human and peasant villages, as well as the animals around. They were seen to cooperate with one another without the use of governing bodies. Karl Marx was another philosopher who inspired me with my fight against capitalism. However, I disagree on his ideas of work performed and the values of commodities, although we both believe that capitalism should be taken down.
Kropotkin had great influence on many historians. His theories about mutual aid and impact on politics would go on to affect many of them. He was a popular character, recognised internationally. In England, he was known for being a brilliant scientist, and the rest of Europe for founding anarchism. His books on ethics, geology, history and literature had a huge impact not only on those fields, but on areas as diverse as city planning, communist ideology and the modern green movement.
One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright.